Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
I'm Sarah, this is Nick, and we are currently in lockdown here in Spain, patiently waiting to get the van and get back out on the road.
Now, if you've been following our channel, you'll know that we're very positive people and we absolutely love van life and we're just totally addicted.
Happy, happy, happy.
Today's video is something a little bit different.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about things that you need to consider before starting this lifestyle and living in a van similar to ours. So sort of the not so fantastic things about van life.
Okay, the first and probably the most obvious one and thing you need to consider is driving.
Yes.
You're going to be doing a lot of it.
Don't start van life if you don't like driving. Because most people like driving, especially if you're kind of driving leisurely. You know, you're not driving to work, you're driving to travel and find nice places.
Yeah, but when you're travelling around Europe or, you know, if you're in the States or somewhere else, there can be a lot of driving. We're talking like hours and hours on the road.
Yeah. And more kind of importantly, traffic. Now, we have been stuck in traffic, and depending on the weather, so say if it's really warm, we don't have air conditioning in our van, then being stuck in traffic for sometimes can be hours is definitely a bummer.
Kind of lost the will for it now. We're stuck in another queue. We're not even moving.
And there's a lot of traffic, isn't there? Depending on the country, there is a lot of traffic.
Security.
Ah!
Security is a big worry when you're living in your home with all your sort of possessions and valuables with you.
So, you know, you're leaving your van, you're going off, you're coming back, and there's always a thing in the back of your mind. Is the van going to be there? I mean, the whole van, I mean, because that's the worst, isn't it? If you come back and the whole van's gone, and then obviously getting broken into.
Another thing to consider is breaking down or crashing. Some idiot has just driven past and knocked our wing mirror. They just cut us up. We're in the slow lane obviously, and he just came past and cut us up. So it was so like this far away from actually hitting the van.
Basically, you've just got to watch out for the whole entire time, haven't you? Bit extreme, but yeah, it does happen. So any sort of accidents or problems you can get into, but breaking down is something that is definitely in the back of your mind the whole time. You know, you're in a motor vehicle, it's a machine, things go wrong, and it can happen to older, I mean, we're in an older vehicle, obviously worry about that, but any vehicle can have problems and you can break down in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's not very good. We've got a puncture or more a complete blowout.
Yeah, it's more of a worry in an older vehicle. Like we worry about a lot of little sounds that we hear.
You can hear that. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, there's a clonking sound coming from underneath.
Because Vinny's, you know, he's 29 years old, and in the end, you are travelling around in your home.
Yeah,
you know,
and
with
sometimes it
everything
does sound like the wheels are just going to literally fall off when we're going over bumpy roads and stuff. Bumpy, bumpy. So yeah, you definitely have to worry or think about that kind of angle of breaking down.
Let's talk bathroom, and first of all, toilet. If you've got a van with a toilet, you don't need to bother with this, but for those who don't, you need to get used to pooing in the wild. Get yourself one of these. Or you need to find a toilet, a public toilet, bar, restaurant, cafe, and this is every day. And if you have got a toilet, you still need to find places to empty it, so that's always a little bit of stress.
Sticking to the bathroom subject, showering. Now, there is probably absolutely no way that you're going to have daily showers. Let's face it, even if you've got a van big enough to have a shower inside, that's a hell of a lot of water that you need to collect to be able to have those daily showers. So you do really, realistically need to get used to showering only perhaps once a week.
But then don't forget the good old-fashioned traditional flannel wash. Now, for quite a while I thought this was just something my parents did, but I found out that it's quite popular all over the world. And I've got used to it. I quite enjoy good old-fashioned flannel wash now.
So yes, get used to flannel washing and showers only once a week. Also, if you're one of these people who like to straighten your hair with hair straighteners every day or use a hairdryer, forget it. They consume far too much power. Unless, I guess you could use them if you stayed at campsites. Anyway, luckily for me and Nick, we don't use straighteners or hairdryers. Okay, so finding somewhere to spend the night.
Yeah, this is something you have to do every day, obviously. Now, you can always stay in a campsite, but this is something we generally haven't done whatsoever.
Yeah, because of obvious reasons, because of budget. We can't
Yeah.
afford to stay in a campsite every night.
So yeah, so you have to research where you're going to stay. You need to stay somewhere safe, that you feel secure, and that's actually legal to stay. In some countries it's not legal to stay anywhere, and there's signs everywhere.
Most places, you know, there is somewhere we don't have a huge problem, but as Nick says, some countries have been more difficult than others.
Woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning with blue flashing lights and a knock on the door.
Yeah, basically the police came and they told us off and we're absolutely gutted. Basically, you're not allowed to park up in the national park. It's completely forbidden. That can be a little bit stressful sometimes.
And it's not always the Instagram, the beautiful locations you manage to stay at.
No trees or beaches out there, Charlie. Yeah, so, you know, it's not always nature and beautiful park ups, is it?
You've got to be prepared just to stay in a car park sometimes,
Yeah.
or park up in a residential area.
And not necessarily nice car parks either. Also, if you're planning to be away in the busiest months of the year in Europe or probably anywhere in the world, June, July, August, the summer months are just so busy everywhere, and then it becomes not so van friendly. Anywhere that's got kind of hotels and a resort type area, you do have to kind of avoid these places in the peak seasons. Number 5, we're talking about limited resources, and that's everything basically from water to electricity, internet, gas, how much food you can carry. Stocked up. You have to really be, efficient.
Water, you have to be prepared. You know, you can't carry much water. You haven't got water on tap. You don't just turn the tap and it's unlimited. You've got to fill up your van. So one thing, you can only carry so much, and 2, you've got to find places to fill up. Now generally it's quite easy, isn't it?
It's generally easy-ish, yeah, but we don't do it every day. If you're looking for water every single day, then it wouldn't be so easy. The fact that we can go, you know, 3 or 4 days and, you know, have time to plan where we're going to fill up, then it is fairly easy in most of Europe.
But you've got to be prepared to stop at petrol stations, even if you're not putting any petrol in, or, you know, find a little hose sticking out the wall in the car park, and you know, take on, you know.
And then of course you have to make sure that water's safe to drink as well, or get yourself a filter jug or something. So water's a big one. Electricity, obviously most people like us have solar panels, so it's absolutely brilliant when the sun's out. But if it's cloud cover and no sunshine, then obviously you need to drive to charge up your batteries instead. And of course for us, we have had some gas issues in the past. Camping gas, it's rubbish. Poland, I've googled it, doesn't look like we're going to find these there either. So what we're going to do is we're going to get to Poland, get a Polish local bottle that will work out 5 times cheaper than this, and we're going to have to get an adapter, a regulator, sorry, and adapt it to the van and just do it that way.
And then you've got internet.
And we don't have broadband, you know, we have limited gigs to use in most places that we go to. You know, you get local SIMs and they're not unlimited, or if you have a SIM card from your home country, it's generally not unlimited anyway. The reception is up and down. You might have 4G, full bars, and then, you know, you'll drive up a hill or something and then you've got no 4G.
And then laundry.
Right, here we are. What's going on? It's always exciting, isn't it, in the laundrette when you don't know how to use machines? Laundry,
Your
yes.
washing of clothes, you know, we haven't got a, well, maybe you have got a washing machine.
I don't think many people have washing machines in vans. And again, with the water situation, you can only hand wash a certain amount of things because it does use a lot of water. So you have to go to laundrettes.
Yeah. And in some countries it's not that easy to find them. You know, generally you can type in laundromat, laundry service into Google. Some countries we really have struggled.
We have struggled a little bit. And it's always going to generally be in a town, isn't it? Quite a large-ish town where you're going to get a laundromat. So it's just another thing to think about.
It's like a full day out going to the laundry.
It totally is. It's like definitely half a day because you have to wait for it and then you have to get it out and put it in the dryer and then you have to wait again. So it does take quite a bit of your time.
Another massive thing about living in a van, in particular our van, is living in a small space.
Yeah, and actually whatever van you have, unless you have a huge coach or a massive school bus or whatever, it's going to be a downsize, isn't it? Even vans a bit bigger than ours and motorhomes, it's still a lot smaller than most houses and apartments. So you have to be prepared to be at close proximity.
You've got to get on, basically. You've got to get on with your other half.
Yeah, and it's everything to do with, I mean, a small van, it gets very dusty, so it's a constant cleaning things down, wiping over the surfaces all the time.
You've got to be organised.
Yes.
We feel you have. You can't be, you know, if you're a messy person in the house, you move into a van, especially if it's small, you can't just leave stuff lying around. You've got to be tidied up.
Definitely, you have
all
to
the
have
time.
everything organised, as we've mentioned in the previous video.
If you've got dogs, you know, they've got to be clean when they're coming in, because like we've got rugs on the floor, you know. If you've got carpet down or whatever, dogs' mucky paws or wet dogs in a small van is not going to be very pleasurable.
We don't have a fixed bed, so it's every single day, bed down to make it into a bedroom, bed back up. So it's all takes a lot longer to start your day just for getting the van back to normal, doesn't it? Oh yeah.
Then if you're in a small van, you've got to think about the weather. Now you've got the two extreme. If it's really hot,
Yeah.
it gets unbearable in the van and you have to spend a lot of time outside.
In the shade. And then of course if it's raining, I mean if it's cold it's not too bad, you've got a heater, you put the heater on, you snuggle up, that's fine. But rain is an issue when you're in a van this size. You can't go out. The dogs hate the rain anyway, so they're not happy going out, so you could be, you know, hunkered down in
3 or
this
4
size
days.
space for days on end, and you do end up going a little bit loopy.
bit. It's freezing and it's grey.
Weather is so miserable.
Cold, wet, it's ridiculous.
Really, really miserable out there. It's so windy and cold. Absolutely blinking freezing now, as far as I'm concerned.
Horrible, horrible, horrible out there.
Driving rain.
Pretty much it's been raining.
5 days solid rain. We've been so miserable.
We were just bickering, arguing.
Sunshine! So next on our list is you have to do constant research. Now if you're travelling around and you want to see places, you need to know where you want to go, and it's a daily thing to research. And not just research where you want to go, research all the things that we've talked about so far. Where there's water, where you're going to stay for the night, where there's laundry. It's just a constant thing, isn't it?
Yeah, this can get really tiring because, yeah, it's literally everything you need to research. You know, you're in your van, you're going to drive somewhere, you need to find out where you're going. It's not like you're going on holiday and you just get off somewhere and there's a few things to do. You need to decide which route you're going to take, which country you're going to go to, what you're going to see.
Yeah, you've never been to any of these places before. It's all completely new. So you need to you can't just drive and not know where you're going. You need to have a kind of half plan. I mean, we don't plan everything, but we do spend a lot of time researching.
But if you want to make the best out of every country and you want to see the best it has to offer, you know, some people can just drive through, but no, we want to see as much as we can. So research is involved in that. So yeah.
Another little thing as well. So it's not just where you want to go and what resources that you need. It's also learning a bit about that country before you go in. You want to learn a few odd words, please, thank you, a couple of numbers, just out of respect really, and maybe just a couple of little local laws so you don't get in trouble going down a motorway without a vignetta, for example.
Tolls, vignettes, all that.
What currency they use in that country. So there's a lot of research on a daily basis, and I think that's quite something to
it's
definitely
a massive thing
that you have to think about.
Wildlife, there you go, that's another thing. Now in particular we're talking about bugs.
Yes. Now
who really likes bugs, eh?
A lot of people don't like bugs. We don't like bugs, let's face it, but if you're terrified of bugs, then I would actually think, is this lifestyle right for me? Because you are going to encounter quite a few bugs. Now the most common bugs are mosquitoes, flies, and probably ants are quite a common one too, and they do come in the van, those 3 creatures, and there's lots of them outside the van. And when you live in a van like this, you spend so much time outside and you are in amongst the bugs a lot.
The mozzies are the worst, and the flies, you know, fly in, and some countries there's loads, and especially in the summer.
Quite frustrating for the dogs with flies, especially the big ones that are really bzzz. it sends these two insane. So we really have to kind of be on point with keeping our mosquito nets up and keeping our windows closed, which is obviously a bit tricky when it's so hot and you want it all open.
But certain seasons you have certain like swarms of plagues of insects, so you've got to be careful.
You've got to be careful. So finally, to summarise, the last thing we're going to mention is roughing it. It's kind of like if you didn't like camping as a kid when you used to go on holidays, then I don't think that you're really going to love this lifestyle that much.
But if you like caravans, then it might work for you. So, but you've got to be prepared to rough it, because you're going to spend, quite a bit of time outside, and the whole of filling up with waters and that sort of thing. You've got to be prepared to get your hands a bit dirty.
Yeah. And talking about things like that, you do kind of sometimes, in some areas, kind of get looked down on, don't you? We've even had people saying a few rude comments to us before. Not many, but we have
asking us if we actually, how can we live this lifestyle?
Yeah.
And that's easy to answer. We love it, but they were referring to going to the toilet and washing outside and that sort of thing. But people do give you funny looks. One, they may be jealous of your lifestyle that you're travelling, but generally because you may be,
what are you doing here kind of thing, or if you're going to fill up your water bottles, a couple of big bottles, some people sort of look at you like, oh well, that's a bit cheeky kind of thing.
You've got to be prepared for a few looks. Now generally you don't get them, but some countries are worse than others, but yeah. So that's it really. So
that's it. So I hope we haven't
put you off.
Hope we haven't put you off, because as you know, we do love doing what we do, but there's definitely things to think about. We don't want to make it look so easy, because it's not easy. This lifestyle is definitely not easy. It's very tiring as well. Being on the road day in, day out, and all the things that we've mentioned, it does get tiring.
Yeah, it's not a holiday. It's not like like we've said in the previous video, when we're back here now, this is like a holiday, because we don't have to research, don't have to constantly on the go and all that.
We absolutely love doing what we do. We love travelling. Like, it's all we've ever wanted to do. But like Nick just said, it's not a holiday, it's travelling, and they're two different things, especially when you do it on a budget in a van this size and you want to explore a lot as much as you can kind of thing. Anyway, thank you.
We've rambled on enough.
We have rambled on enough. So thank you so much for watching, guys. And we will see you
in the next video.
Bye.
Hello, people. No, I'm not going to do that, actually.
I'm not ready.
Hey, guys. Welcome. Can you stop kissing Dizzee, please, darling?
I can't.
Having one of her moments. Having one of her moments.
Addictive. Who else kisses their dogs as much as we do? Like, seriously, these dogs probably get, and this is not even a joke, I reckon about 100 kisses each.
We don't
from
kiss each other anymore.
So they probably get 200 kisses a day. 100 from Nick, 100 from me. And the best place to kiss Dizzee, I think, is there. Just in between his eye and his ear.
I think we're going on about this a little bit too much.
He loves it.